Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. Chris, give me an old man take today.
Again, Drew McIntyre show, all right? He is proving again and again he is not moving to heel, okay? He is doing everything that your guys' baby faces are doing, and you guys still think he's going heel. Drew McIntyre, he's my guy.
Drew McIntyre, the heel, of course, is Chris's guy, Rod. What are you hot about today?
Jimmy, listen, I'm gonna switch it up on you here a little bit. I'm gonna try to dip into the talent bag that I have and see how much I can muster a little bit of a song for you here. If I can get across something that I've been feeling recently when I've been watching the WWE televised broadcast. Okay, I'm gonna ask maybe if underneath me here you could dial up the beginning of I'll give everybody a hint here, but what I'm about to say, the Judgment Day theme. All right, I'm starting to think to myself quite often, after that theme's guitar hits and then that soft part hits and then that guy's about to come on and start screaming whatever words he's saying. I can't quite make them out. But what I'm starting to say to myself is, I'm gonna leave my TV screen right now, because I am totally sick of seeing the Judgment Day. I don't understand what storylines are going on with them. I don't understand why we just gave them the tag belts if you're then going to have them fight in solos matches at the next Premium Live event. I don't understand why Rhea Ripley needs to be on two separate sides of another singles match that doesn't have anything to do with her. Oh my God, Jimmy, I've had it with the Judgment Day on my TV screen.
Can we just take a moment and just appreciate the wonderful singing voice we heard just a couple seconds ago? All right, that was something that's a treat for our listeners. They don't often get on this podcast, so let's just appreciate that for a moment.
Rod, I am so glad that you brought up the Judgment Day. It's like we talked about this beforehand. We're that professional here. Last June 22nd, episode 129, we had our top 10 most heat list that we had. It could be good heat. It could be bad heat. Well, Rod, number one on that list, and we're going to go through all 10 of them here. Number one on that list was Dominic Mysterio. 2 questions. Number one, the same heat? And number 2, was he the best pick?
I still think that was probably the proper pick in June. I think his heat has dropped a little bit, but it's close to the same.
I think he's actually probably amazingly stayed really about the same. He definitely has not probably risen above where he was. And I don't think you could make an argument that he is now number one anymore, but I don't really think it's a fault of his, right? I just think some other people have kind of surpassed him in popness, if that's a way we can even define this here. But I think he's still getting the same reaction, because just this week, right? Sean Ross Sapp, who just is such an amazing follow on Twitter, and not for the reasons you think I mean, not really for the reasons you think I mean, but good wrestling information does come out every once in a while, but it's a chore to follow along because of how often he's going back and forth at people and you can't figure out what he's talking about. And that's a story for another time. But anyway, there was a video that somebody shot from inside this week when Logan Paul, who we got to remember is a big deal to the WWE. So he's in the ring with Dom Mysterio. That says something anyway in and of itself. And there was a video from inside there, and those boos were pretty loud. As somebody who on this podcast has wondered before how much of that was piped in, it certainly sounded like Dom was getting quite a few boos to me, Chris. So I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's because Dom slipped. I think it's because people's passed him.
Yeah, maybe, but you and Triple H have been surprised by the amount of boos Dom gets still.
Yeah, Chris, Dom is kind of weird because he's still getting his same level of heat, even more so, but maybe they're just getting a little too much of Dom right now. Someone who we haven't gotten a little much of here, Rod Morgan, is your boy. He's one of the best face heels, whatever he could be. Your boy, number 2 in June, was Seth freaking Rollins.
Listen, we all know that I love him, and I love seeing the look on Chris's face when Seth Rollins comes up, because this is basically his whole argument for the Drew of it all right now, right? Is basically the way that my guy comports himself leads Chris to believe that Drew McIntyre is not a heel. But what Chris has to understand is that the Seth we see now morphed out of Seth heel, right? And Seth became a heel because of all of the things that he did. So now your guy Drew may be able to then rise to babyface heel, but he's got to turn heel first. So don't try to hate the game or copy the game of Seth Rollins, Chris. Just hate the player, all right? Just want him to lose in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but don't try to copy his game. He's the only one that has that kind of swagger.
I don't disagree with you, Jimmy. I think that the crowd is singing just as loud to his entrance song as what it used to. It doesn't even need to be Seth that mentions the song for them to break out in it. We saw it when Drew mentioned his song, and the crowd started singing right away. I mean, Seth probably has the second most control of any WWE crowd there of anybody right now.
Chris, I love you because you offer me very good transitions. Speaking of singing along to songs, number 3 in June was Cody Rhodes. And gentlemen, we've got some consistency in the WWE right now. Could be good, could be bad, but they're doing pretty good. These are some of the most heated people right now a few months later. Rod, talk to me about Cody Rhodes.
And I suppose that's good, right? As somebody who has joined you in times saying that we need to be better at long-term storytelling, right? That if we then turned around and got mad at them for not having somebody new in the top 3, we'd be perhaps disingenuous there with that. So I kind of like it, but you do have to make sure that you're rising new people. And what I guess I would say is we haven't probably risen anybody up like a rocket ship right into the top 10, but we got a couple of people who I think are starting to burble a little bit down in the mid-card area. So at least we got some moves there, but maybe not top 10 wise.
Just as we said, we had some continuity, a little different here. Number 4 on the list was the Usos. They're not even a tag team anymore, Rod.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Before we dip into the Usos, the brand, you just brought it up, Jimmy. This is the only spot we can talk about it here. Are we about to launch into Raw SmackDown Wars again because of what we saw between Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce? Is that where we're headed? Are those two guys going to fight each other?
That would be an indie dream match, Rod. I don't know if we're going to quite see that at Survivor Series. I think we're going to see a Raw versus SmackDown now at Survivor Series. And, of course, the Judgment Day would have to be in there somewhere. You're not going to see Jimmy or Jay, I believe, in the top 10. Maybe Jay. They've done a really good job with him. Jimmy, on the other hand, they've done a good job, but Chris, kind of strange the way they brought him back, correct?
He hasn't been given much to work with, let's be honest, all right? What they've done with Jimmy is a bit weird. You're going to stick with the bloodline, then go with your brother, then go back on your brother, and go back with the bloodline. It's just weird how they did all that. I'm happy that they have been broken up. I'm happy that they don't have the tag belts anymore. At least I'm seeing the tag belts change hands, not necessarily the tag team partners necessarily, but at least we're seeing those belts change hands. I definitely think Jay gets bigger pops than what Jimmy does.
Number 5 is someone who, well, Rod didn't even have on his list back in June, and I cannot believe, that he did not have this person because, this person is probably going to be in our top 2 or 3 come next week. We're talking about L.A. Knight.
Yeah, I would say that LA Knight has a resume and television appearances and merch sales and pops and Yaz popping up in weird locations. Like, honestly, I love LA Knight, but when we went to WWE Fastlane, I was ready to be away from the WWE universe because every 90 seconds somebody was yelling out, I mean, it was just getting a little out of control. So let's calm down a little bit. Like not everybody has to try to start a chant off. Okay. That doesn't have to happen. Everybody out there in the podcast network who's also a member of the WWE universe, which I guess would be all of you. If we're talking about the way Venn diagrams cross in, you would probably be a WWE fan if you're listening to this podcast. So no more of that. No more all the time. Right. But when we're at our little kids baseball games, right, or when we're at Indianapolis Colts games, let's maybe try to fire a couple of those off, right? See if any of our fellow friends are around. But when we know wrestling fans are around, it's annoying. But no, I think LA Knight, you can make an argument that he's probably number 1 on the list now. No, Jim?
Chris, when you teach your Morse code for beginners class at the local community college, do you say to them a lot? Just asking questions there.
If they get it right, yeah. I agree, though. He needs to be further up on the list. He's definitely jumped the Usos and Cody in that list, and you got to think that he's probably right up there, even with Seth and Dom for that top spot.
And Cody? He's jumped Cody? I'm not so sure he's jumped Cody.
Yeah, I think he's jumped Cody.
We'll fight about that next week. Don't worry about it. But someone we will not be fighting about, I don't think, is our next team. Number 6 on the list, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Not a team, not even on the same brand anymore. This is one duo that I think has gone down a little bit. Don't you guys agree?
It speaks to why it took those guys so long to be able to then tag team and wrestle a main event at WrestleMania, right? And why it was such a big deal, and why I think they're kind of pointing it out, because I both think they kind of see the writing on the wall, right? Like their characters are just not the kind that are quite as charismatic that you're just drawn to them every week, and then they don't have a belt, right? Or they're not in the Judgment Day, for goodness gracious sakes, right? I mean, so how could we possibly put them on screen, because they don't come down with the purple bandana hanging out of their back pocket? I mean, that's way more intriguing on screen than a guy who comes down with the duct tape t-shirt, because none of that stuff frills matters. He just wants to beat somebody in the face. Why would we want to watch somebody like that on a show where it's all about grown men wrestling?
Speaking of thrilling entrances, Chris, I love you, bud. You're awesome. Roman Reigns is number 7 on our list. And as I said back in June, gentlemen, he is a 3-year champion in the biggest storyline, but he's only number 7. This actually feels right now as well. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, he's still in that 7 to 8 range, I think. Just because how long was it before he showed up on TV again, right? Like there was a long break. And so, yeah, people were excited to see him back, and he jumped right into this feud with LA Knight, but he didn't get the pop that LA Knight did. LA Knight controlled that crowd that night. It wasn't Roman. It wasn't our champion.
See, I saw a lot of that take too, and I don't necessarily know that I 100% back that. As much as I'm an LA Knight guy, I don't know that LA Knight quite had the crowd in the palm of his hands as much as Roman. Roman still has those people's attention at all times. Let's not slight the tribal chief here. We'll see. I mean, we're going to argue about that next week. But what I do want to say here, though, Jimmy, is you need to start taking some shots at the tribal chief, because if you're going to come on this podcast and constantly throw tin cans at the GOAT, Charlotte Flair, for not wrestling and taking time off, you got to do the same thing at the GOAT Roman Reigns. All right, you better throw some tin cans at him too, because he's taking a bunch of time off, and you're always shooting shots at Charlotte about
Rod,
that.
you're right, and it's kind of a gimmick with Charlotte right now, but it has to be continued with Roman, because he's the champion. He needs to fight. They had to make a whole nother belt because he wasn't going to be around as much. If you're a 3-year champion, I want to see you fight a little bit more for sure. Let's move on to our number 8 overall back in June, Rhea Ripley. Rhea was Rod's Wrestler of the Year, I believe, last year. I don't know if he's ever mentioned that before or not. I think she's gone up and down this list a lot recently. She's been at the very, very top, maybe a little overexposure now. So I don't know if she's going to get number 1 next week or not, but Rhea Ripley at number 8 in June was a pretty good pick on our end, I think.
Yeah, and we've seen it numerous times where she comes out with Dom Dom, where the crowd will go nuts and be cheering for her like enthusiastically, and then as soon as Dom picks up, it's over to boos. I mean, the amount of applause and cheers and fandom that she has created is shocking still to me, considering she's with the Judgment Day, who I'm getting tired of, just like Rod. But I'm not tired of Rhea Ripley.
Did you did you put together a song about how you're tired about the Judgment Day as well, Chris? Did you bring your acoustic guitar or your bongos from back in your day touring with Fish?
No, I don't have the vocals anymore like you do, Rod.
I'm not sure I do either, but thank you guys for allowing me that few seconds to do my little Weird Al type song. I was the one who argued the hardest for Rhea Ripley. I was the one who named her the Wrestler of the Year at last year's year-end podcast. So, I mean, I always take a chance to pat myself on the back here. But what I would say is anytime you're involved in a match with Raquel Rodriguez and Nia Jax and I can't even think of the one chick's name who just came up recently from NXT, right? Like, things aren't going incredibly great for you is what I would say. So, yeah, she's probably not 1-2 anymore, because Jimmy, also while we're here, can you explain to me what Nia Jax was trying to do in that segment in the ring? I mean, do you have any explanation for what she was trying to do by just constantly repeating herself?
I'm definitely going to let Chris take this one here in a second, but listen, Nia Jax, I don't get the appeal of anything. She's got the look. She doesn't have the mic work. She doesn't have the in-ring work. I just don't understand what they're doing with her. I would have loved to see her in that Chelsea Green role of, being the big bruising person in that role instead of Piper Niven. I think she would have actually played that better. But listen, I have no idea.
Well, Chris, you try to explain it to me. Why did she just keep saying the same thing over and over again? What do you think she was trying to do there?
I think she was trying to remember her lines, Rod.
9 and 10, we are going to go through pretty quickly here. Brock Lesnar not wrestling anymore, and Sheamus hasn't wrestled very much recently and really had a good run there, but kind of fallen to the backside here recently.
Yeah, this was like just a pat on the back of Sheamus. This is like a Sheamus appreciation spot, basically, is what we gave it to him here. And then if we're going to come on here and make fun of Roman and you make fun of Charlotte for not wrestling, we got to get on Sheamus at this point because we haven't seen him for a little while either. So he's definitely probably going to not be in this top 10.
Of those wrestlers, though, I will say Sheamus probably deserves the rest more than anybody else.
Charlotte's only won the belt 14 times. She doesn't deserve to be off when she wants to. My goodness, you're so misogynistic, Chris.
Yeah, that's
now,
why.
Before we go, we've got a few people that might be coming up on the list. Shinsuke Nakamura has really done a good job recently. Gunther has done a terrific job. Becky Lynch, Asuka. So there's some other people that might be on this list.
Listen, I'm telling you something right now. If we make a list next week that does not include Gunther, I'm leaving this podcast, all right? If we cannot agree to put Gunther somewhere in this new top 10 that we create next week, I'm leaving this podcast. That's what I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, Gunther deserves a spot because he does get the pop. People are excited when he comes out. People are excited that they're going to get to see him in a match. Gunther should be up there. I don't know if I'll threaten to leave the pod. I like talking with you guys.
I will leave. If Gunther does not make this top 10 list, I will leave. You need me on this pod. Come on, I sang a song at the beginning of this one.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan Knows Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Chris.
Goodbye, net. Yeah.